Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Wednesday, the 10th of September. I'm Anne-Marie Case-Miller. Drivers have been warned to take extra care and allow extra travelling time as traffic delays are expected around Tiro in the coming days as the new roundabout is connected to State Highways 1 and 5. Work is expected to start on Monday and be completed by December. The roundabout will replace a T intersection which has seen 5 people die in fatal smashes in the past 6 years. The new CEO of the Waikato District Health Board has been in the role for nearly 2 months. Dr Nigel Murray returned to New Zealand and the Waikato to take up the role and took over from Craig Climo, who saw the DHB through an intense period of construction, with the $500 million 10-year building project coming to an end. Dr Nigel Murray explains how he's making the most of a transition phase.
Well, I'm still in a transition phase. There's many things to learn. I've been out of the country now for nearly 10 years. But when I arrived, there are many things that have changed since that time, many things the same. People have been so helpful in guiding me to learn the things that I didn't know or should know, and very patient with my learning curve. So that's a mixture of both. I've been able to quickly pick up issues. There are brand new ones that people have guided me through, and they say your honeymoon period lasts about 3 months, so I'm going to exploit every single day I can on that period. But it's great to be here, and it's a wonderful district health board and a wonderful community.
In sport, and Peachgrove Intermediate student Kalyan Guji won the Year 7 boys cross-country title when the NZCT Ames Games got underway in Tauranga on Sunday. The Year 7 student took out his 3-kilometre race in 10 minutes and 56 seconds, 5 seconds clear of second-placed Ollie Marshall of Taradale Intermediate in Napier. Hamilton's Fairfield Intermediates Charlie Miller was third in the Year 7 girls race, finishing in 11 minutes and 37 seconds, leading Fairfield to the team gold in the same event. The games continue right throughout this week with 17 sports being played. A district court judge is warning that farmers polluting waterways can expect higher fines in future to provide greater deterrence as cases continue to come before the courts. Judge Melanie Harland in Hamilton gave the warning as she convicted and fined a Waikato farming company for unlawful dairy effluent discharges into the environment. Brownsville Farms Limited received 3 convictions and a total fine of more than $43,000 following events between September and November last year at the company's Walton farm near Matamata. Judge Harlan said that the main purposes of sentencing in this field are denunciation and deterrence, and the fact that similar types of cases continue to come before the courts indicates that a more stern response might be required in future. And finally, if you spent time last month as an inpatient of one of Waikato DHB's 5 hospitals, you may have been asked to fill in a survey on your experiences. A random selection of people who spent at least one night in Waikato, Thames, Tokoroa, Te Kuiti or Taumarunui hospitals between the 4th and 17th of August have been sent an invitation to participate in a national survey. Patients will be able to fill in the survey online using a computer, tablet or smartphone, or can post their response. This will be the first time hospital patients' feedback has been collected and measured in the same way right across New Zealand. Developed by the Health Quality and Safety Commission, the survey will help to improve the quality of hospital care and understand how well health services are working for patients and their families. The Health Quality and Safety Commission will collate the responses to give each DHB a rating out of 10 in 4 areas: coordination, partnership, communications and physical and emotional needs. Taking a look at the marine forecast now. Raglan, you can expect a nor'east of 15 knots, slight sea, southwest swell of 2 metres easing. High tide 8:30 tomorrow morning. Bay of Plenty a nor'east of 15 knots with a slight sea, and high tide 7 minutes past 11 tonight. Still to come on Central News, we speak with the Waikato University rowing crew ahead of the Galahad Great Race this weekend in Hamilton, find out about a new cafe in Hamilton, plus catch up with Cairo George on his boxing career. Kia ora, welcome back to Central News. Since 2002, the University of Waikato has challenged crews from across the globe at the Galahar Great Race. Initially a 2-boat race, the 3-boat format was introduced in 2011. This year, the University of Waikato crew take on Harvard and Melbourne. I spoke with the crew recently. Finn, this is your second time racing. What makes the Galahar Great Race so special?
It's quite unique, just mainly because it's on a river with such amount of current on it. So it throws a spanner in the works in some ways, yeah.
Do you have to change the way you actually row?
Yeah, definitely. It's not the same because there's so much current, so the boat's just thrashing around and you just a completely different way of rowing, more or less.
And also it's a longer course, it's over 4Ks instead of a traditional 2?
Yeah, I think it's about 3Ks and it takes about the same distance as 5K would take, so it's more of an endurance race rather than a 2K sprint, which is another spanner in the works.
Word on the street is that this team is a pretty strong team that has been assembled to take on Harvard and Melbourne. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely a strong crew. We've all just come back from under 23 World Champs, all 7 of us, and our coxswain's at World Champs coxing at the moment as well. So he's got a lot of experience, but very strong crew. Most of us medalled, so yeah, good.
We have got some first-timers in the crew this year as well. Isaac, Anthony and Alex. Have you been told what to expect on the boat?
Yeah, just if the boat's feeling like it's going all right, it's probably going really well, and a lot of blade clashing.
Have you watched the races previously?
Yeah, I've watched about the last 3 years of them.
And what are your thoughts going into this race?
I think it looks pretty exciting. I'm pretty amped for it.
You've recently come back from the World Champs in Italy. How's that experience going to help you on the Waikato River?
I think it'll help us probably gel together a lot more because we've all been in the same campaign and we're all at probably similar level in terms of fitness-wise at the moment.
Absolutely, because the World Champs were only a month ago?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, so we're all getting back into it now.
Is that going to give you an advantage over Harvard and Melbourne, do you think?
Yeah, I think it will, as it's quite a long race compared to 2Ks, so yeah, I think it'll help in the long run.
Alex, what do you know about the crews you'll be competing against?
Not a whole lot, to be honest. We know that there's a few Kiwi boys in the in the Harvard crew, and so they'll bring a lot of experience. They're all a bit older, a bit stronger, so they'll be good. And Melbourne will obviously still have a good crew as well, no doubt.
Does it help you having the Rowing New Zealand base here at Lake Karapiro? Does that help in the sense that all the support you need is right here in preparing for this particular race as well?
Yeah, maybe not so much for this race because it's so different being on the river, but just having all of us together, we all know each other, we've all rowed together, that helps, like Anthony said, gel together.
Paddy, I'll move on to you. How many times have you raced in this particular race?
This will be my second time, so last year was my first time.
And judging on last year, what are you expecting?
Another big event, especially the start. Coming out of the start is always really exciting. The 3 boats there pushing in for that first inside corner and the lead into the river, so that's always the most exciting part for me, really.
Tell me about the indoor race. What is this about?
So the indoor race is an accumulative event, so we race in pairs over 500 metres and to see who can get the fastest overall average time, and then the winners from that will decide where on the river they'll like to start, either be at the east bank, the west bank or in the middle, depending. There's a lot of variation in the current, so the east bank will change from the west bank, and yeah, so it's a big one. So
do you make the call on the day where you want to be?
Not really. We know, we've done it for so many years, Waikato, so Ross is pretty experienced and he knows where we want to sit, and so yeah, it's up to Ross, he knows what to do.
Tell me about your position on the boat.
So I'm in 5 seats, so I'm sort of just a powerhouse there, an engine room as they say, yep.
And of course the Cox, who's not here, but it's a pretty important job, especially on the river, I'm thinking, against the current.
Yeah, Caleb. So he was an old boy from Hamilton Boys. So he's had plenty of years on the river training with Hamilton Boys all through school. So he definitely knows the river like the back of his hand. So that's a huge advantage for us.
Hayden, what do you think are the different strengths that this team have that's going to help you on the water?
I think everyone's pretty experienced this year. As mentioned before, everyone's done 23, so it's only a pretty strong crew. And having an experienced coxswain always makes it easier as well.
Tell me about your position on the boat.
So I'm up in the bow in 2 seats, so I don't just sit there and row, listen to the coxswain and just do whatever.
So, to someone watching who knows nothing about rowing, where are you? What does that mean?
For me, so I'm in the end of the boat that will cross the line at the first, I guess. So, and then I don't know, there's not very much to say. I'm just rowing.
It's rowing, rowing. And you're just listening to what they tell you to do and just going and going, hopefully at the same time, and getting through that current. And of course, there's a couple of bridges to get through as well. Are you nervous about that part? Like, there's a couple of bridges and you don't really want to hit either of the supports, do you?
No, not at all. I think it happened a few years back, but yeah, Caleb's pretty good. Caleb's experienced, like Hayden said, he's been on the river for, I don't know, 5-6 years, so he'll have it sorted. Yeah.
And tell me about the spectators. How many people do you want to see down there, and do you want them to bring your cowbells?
Yeah, as much as support as possible, really. It all helps, especially when you're coming into that last little bit. It all helps to get the crew going.
Do you hear the noise? Do you hear the noise out on the water when you're out there?
I think it depends on the person. I tend to not hear the noise when I'm racing, but a lot of other people do.
Paddy's nodding. You hear the noise?
Yeah, well, it's different on a 2K course, obviously, but on the river, everyone comes down from their houses. We've got sections on the river, and you see families down there, and they're all yelling. You're so close to the bank, because the inside bank there's no current, so the boats are right in close to the tree edge, and you can hear everything. It's cool.
The Galahad Great Race takes place on the Waikato River this weekend. For all the racing details, go to thegreatrace.co.nz. Still to come, the newest cafe in Hamilton and boxer Cairo George. Kia ora, welcome back to Central News. Coffee Culture first opened its doors in Christchurch in 1996 and now has stalls all over Christchurch, in Timaru and Charleston in New South Wales, and now in Hamilton. I spoke with brand manager Sasha Coburn recently about what makes a good coffee experience and what Coffee Culture is all about.
Well, we're all about great coffee and communities. We started about 18 years ago in Sumner in Christchurch, and we were just a tiny coffee shop in a little community, bringing people together over a great cup of coffee. I mean, coffee's been around for centuries, and literally it started with people coming to talk, to share ideas, and that's what we try to do every place that we go to. We say, is there a community that wants great coffee, wants it fast, in a gorgeous environment? We spend a lot of money on our fit-outs. We want to make them stunning so that people feel comfortable bringing their family, bringing their friends, and we have a real focus on the quality of our coffee. We roast in store, so the coffee is always fresh. We can control the quality, and we're very passionate about getting it right for our guests.
You have got stores throughout the South Island, Christchurch, Timaru, and one in Australia, but this is your first foray into the North Island.
Yes.
Why have you chosen Hamilton?
We have family ties to Hamilton, but people have said, why wouldn't you have gone to Auckland or Wellington? And I think because of our community focus, we've said, where are there great communities of people that would benefit from what we do? We love Hamilton's proximity to other places, so we are very small in our growth plans, but having one store underway in Hamilton means that if we wanted to go further afield, it's really easy to get to other great locations from Hamilton. I think Hamilton is on the up. We are loving living here, and I'm really surprised by what a great place it is.
Hamilton boasts the most cafes, restaurants and bars per capita in New Zealand. Does that make you scared, or do you love a challenge?
I absolutely love a challenge, And we know that what we do is unique. So we're not about coming into communities and suburbs that already are well serviced for coffee. We're about saying, where is there a need, and can we match what we offer with some great people who want to continue to deliver on what it is that we do. We do say light and tasty snacks and treats, so we don't have full kitchens, and that enables us to go into communities where sometimes other restaurants can't.
So what is your point of difference? What makes you unique?
We're all about quality, and I know everyone says that, but for us what it means is we roast our own beans, so we control that process from beginning right through to the end. We invest really heavily in training. We want to make sure that our staff understand what we're all about, and it's about having guests, not customers. So we want our guests to feel like they are being welcomed into a home environment where they can bring their friends, they can bring family members. We're committed to making sure everyone has a fantastic time here. You get great coffee, you get it fast. We know from our experience down south that our stores become very important to people. They have their first date, they have their second date, they get engaged in our stores. We have people come back to have their wedding photos. So we know that when you focus on building relationships and creating environments for people to kind of get away from the madness in their lives, when you can do that, it becomes a very special meeting place. And I know after the earthquakes in Christchurch, that's a good example. We were open, we did everything we could to stay open across the city so people could come in and just take sanctuary. We want this to be a place where people can go, this is familiar, this is great, I know what to expect, I'm loved here, and the coffee's awesome.
Meeting someone for coffee is more than just meeting someone for coffee, isn't it? Business deals are done, plans for homes are made, and holidays, and networking is done through a cup of coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you get the environment right, it can be a really comfortable place for everybody. So in our store design, we make sure that there is space for just one person to sit. So if you want to come and read an international newspaper or check out one of the latest magazines, you can do that in store really comfortably. We also have seating for 4 people or 6 people or 8 people, so that lots of different groups can come and be comfy and enjoy time together.
Tell me, you've been open 3 weeks. How's it going at 5 Crossroads?
It's just fantastic. We've been blown away by the response. We haven't done any marketing or advertising. We've just opened the doors, and there's that old saying, if we build it, they will come. And people have. We're delighted to be able to, to offer this service to our guests, and we're getting great feedback.
Tell me about the feedback. What are people saying?
Wow. Yeah, wow, this is great. One of the things we've done, this building has been a cake kitchen for about 35 years. A local couple ran that business, and we're really honoured to kind of continue on with their legacy of having people come in for food and drink in a great spot.
You personally are quite passionate about women in leadership. Tell me about that. How does coffee culture help that?
Yes, I am very passionate about women stepping up and stepping into positions of responsibility. What we have in hospitality is you traditionally have lots of young women who work in stores, and they are often managed by men. Not at Coffee Culture. We have some great guys, don't get me wrong, but I'm really committed to upskilling and developing our young female talent. Often they come to us with no qualifications, and we run small business programs. We teach them everything that we can about running their own businesses, about getting smart, stepping up into leadership positions so that they can expand their opportunities and their horizons.
That's something that's very important and unique to coffee culture.
Well, look, I wish everybody did it. I genuinely wish that everybody was encouraging young women to step up and become all that they're capable of.
For more information, go to coffeeculture.co.nz or call in and see the team at 5 Crossroads in Hamilton. Up next on Central News, we speak with local boxer Cairo George. Kia ora, welcome back to Central News. Born and bred in Ngarawahia, Cairo George has become a serious boxer to contend with since the age of 12. With a number of titles already under his belt, he spoke to Amanda Harper about how he got to where he is and what's coming up next.
Cairo, how did you get into boxing?
I got into boxing when I was young, just being surrounded by a whole lot of family members, getting involved with my dad. Box, my older brother boxed, and a few cousins that boxed as well. So it was just always around me growing up.
Yeah, so you started as a young kid. What age did you actually start fighting?
I had my first amateur fight at age 12. So just been active ever since.
Yeah, is that quite a normal age to start, or were you quite young?
I was quite young. You can actually compete from age 10, so they allow the little guys to get in there and do it too. Yeah.
Can you remember your first fight? What was it like?
I could remember I was spewing from being so nervous.
Bit like today, is it?
Yeah.
So what is it about boxing as a sport that attracts you?
Just the one-on-one thing, you know, if something goes wrong, it's on you, and if things go right, it's on you as well. You got, unlike a team sport, you got people to blame. I just like the pressure of everything being on me.
Yeah, and then also you get all the glory as well that comes with it.
That too, yeah.
Now, what titles have you won?
So I currently hold 2 New Zealand titles professionally. April last year I won the welterweight New Zealand title, and February this year I went up in weight to win the light middleweight New Zealand title.
Now, do you do this as a profession, or do you have another job as well?
I do this professionally, but I also work as a personal trainer at Les Mills in Hamilton.
Yeah, and do you get clients that recognise you?
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
Yeah?
A lot of my clients are based around boxing and seeing me on TV and stuff with the fights, yeah.
Nice. Now, who inspires you?
In terms of boxing, I'm inspired by a guy named Floyd Mayweather, who's the top fighter in the world at the moment. So my career, I've always sort of watched him and try to be like him as much as I can, even with the style in boxing. But outside of boxing, probably my dad. You know, he's a big inspiration for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And has it taken you to any other countries? Have you competed anywhere else?
I haven't competed anywhere else as of yet. I would like to fight some international guys, but bring them here.
Yeah, and what's coming up next for you? You want to bring someone over, I understand.
Yeah, my next fight's going to be in November, and it's going to be back at welterweight where I first became New Zealand champ. It'll be my first time back at that weight since I became champ too, so it's going to be interesting.
So what does that mean, welterweight?
66.6 kilos is the limit for welterweight, but I also hold a New Zealand title at 69.8 kilos as well, and that's where I've had all my fights recently, is the bigger division, so I'm going back down.
Okay. So come November, we should see you in the ring again.
Yeah, with a six-pack, hopefully.
Make sure you follow Cairo on Facebook to keep up to date with all his latest news and fights. Time to take a look at the weather at your place now. Hamilton, you can expect a cloudy Thursday with a few showers, nor'easterlies and a high of 17 degrees. 7 your overnight low. Looking around the region, Paroa, also 17 your high with 9 your low, 15 for Matamata and a low of 8. Te Awamutu, 17 with a low of 7 and Tokoroa, 14 with a low of 8. Across the Kaimai Ranges to Tauranga, cloudy with a few showers and nor'easterlies expected for Thursday with a high of 16 degrees and a low of 11. And around the bay, Te Puke can expect a high of 15 degrees and also a low of 11. And that's Central News for today, Wednesday the 10th of September. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you join our Facebook page and let us know of news in your community. I'm Anne-Marie Case-Miller. I'll catch you back tomorrow night. Ka kite anō.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.